afternoon, and good evening, wherever you're tuning in from. Welcome back to another Clearmud live stream. How's everyone doing today? Today is another watch me work format. Main focus today is we're going to script 2 videos, work on our thumbnail lab, work on the Agent Atlas onboarding, and then last but not least, start working on that Hermes Agent Boot Camp curriculum. Let's make sure we're live, work format, perfect. I do kind of want to finish watching this video, to be honest with you, or at least skimming through it. It's Theo's take on Anthropic's recent post. So we're gonna start off with a little bit of movie night, so to speak, and then we'll get into it. Yo, what's up, El? How you doing today? Thanks for tuning in. Hope you have a nice cup of coffee, or cold brew, or tea, whatever you're into. All right. Yo, what's up, Whoosh? How we doing?
Started leaning hard into Claudifying about a year ago. It's been a crazy adventure, and it's now been around 5 months since I last wrote any code myself. Damn. The code that Claude writes is good, and it's improving. Good code means 2 things. It works, and it's written in a manner that allows another engineer to understand it and build upon it. On the first criteria, the evidence is clear. The rate at which Anthropic staff interject and intervene with Claude's work mid-task has fallen steadily for a year, including on the most complex and open-ended tasks. And this is the success rates, and you can see how massively these have improved. For trivial tasks, things have gotten better, but not a lot. In fact,
you know what's funny? I was gonna ask, but I just keep calling you Level or L. That's good to know, John. Thanks for sharing. I won't forget now. Now I can actually address you by the proper name here, which is good.
this is actually really funny to see. According to their...
Oh yeah, one thing I'll start off this episode with is I've gotten enough feedback and comments saying, man, I thought your channel was all AI generated. A lot of people don't even click on our thumbnails because of the 3D avatar. And while I love that 3D avatar, I've been using it since day one, just different iterations of it. I think it's time we start using my face, testing performance of videos, testing how many people join us on these live streams. Does it change when I start using my face on the thumbnail itself? We'll see. So I've listened to the community feedback. Thank you. And I'm gonna see what happens. And the more I think about it too, it's like, you know, more and more in a world where AI slop is just everywhere, it's being pumped out left and right. People aren't even wasting time clicking into videos that they think are AI slop. But if there's a human behind it, they're more likely to click because they want that human connection. They want that human touch, right? So, yeah, that's the reason for starting to use my face on these thumbnails. We'll see how it goes, you know? It's not that I'm against it. I really love that 3D avatar, but I think it's time. I think it's time to start testing it out. What's up, Aura? How we doing today? Oh, man. Well, I hope for, what's the word? The best possible amicable approach? Amicable. My English is messed up now. I hope for the best possible scenario and all that, but sorry to hear. Right on, John. I won't forget now. Yo, what's up, Sean? How we doing today? Mr. Baker, good afternoon. We have a little movie night. Kind of want to finish skimming through this while I start working on the thumbnail lab.
Trivial tasks. Claude has gotten worse over time and needs more correction. They briefly hit 100% rate for doing simple tasks, but it has declined steadily since. But these heavier tasks have been going up, which is very interesting and lines up with my experience using Anthropic models. You can't get them to do simple shit anymore, but they'll gladly run for hours trying to solve really complex problems. But I do love that in their own measurements, they are admitting that trivial tasks have regressed from where they were in December of last year. That lines up. On the biggest and most open-ended tasks, Claude's success rate hit as high as 76% in May of 2026, which is up 50 percentage points in just 6 months. To give an example of tasks in this tier, a routine upgrade began crashing tens of thousands of training jobs. An engineer pointed Claude at the live incident with little more than some text content and cluster access. Working through the running jobs and testing one environment setting at a time, Claude isolated the single obscure debugging flag that was triggering the crash, reproduced it reliably, and confirmed a fix. In about 2 hours, Claude delivered what would have normally been 2 or 3 days of work. AI debugging is so cool.
Right, Mr. Baker? It's only going to get worse, right? I feel like it's our responsibility as human beings to think about what we put out there, to think about what we give access to when it comes to our AI agents, how much we let them control our lives. I think in some cases it's okay, right? Especially if you're clear that it's AI running a channel, but it's you just see it more and more. You hate to see it, right? Because there's some people out there trying to really do good, and everyone's just getting a bad rap in the space because of it, you know? Yeah, I do not like these these thumbnails at all. So I want to focus today on optimizing this thumbnail lab, and I want to create a new brand kit for it. That way it will always pull from those creative resources when it needs to add one of those elements and color schemes, etc. I think this is great for the blog. I think, you know, we talked about this last live stream. This weekend I disconnected. I went to go see an old friend, stayed with him and his family. It was a nice way to disconnect. And then Sunday I got back here to the house, and I honestly didn't want to do any work behind the computer. It was a nice day to cook all the food in the fridge, or most all the food in the fridge, relax, kind of clean up, and just journal a little bit, just share my thoughts to my journal about Clearmud primarily. It's on my mind every day, but yeah, didn't want to do any infra this weekend, so a little behind from that perspective when I normally do like an infra Saturday or infra Sunday where I'm just 8 hours of improving my systems. That didn't happen this week or this past weekend for that matter. Yeah, they're literally just reading it line for line and just trusting in what's being created. Oof, that's rough. That's rough. Yeah, and it's you know, I feel like, yeah, it's tough. It's tough. You know, there's a lot of opportunistic mindsets for sure in the space. Very few people trying to actually do the right thing. And I hope, you know, time will show that I'm one of those few who are actually trying to do the right thing. And I'm trying to balance also certain tactics that you kind of have to adopt on YouTube to grow, versus always making sure I'm doing the right thing. That's always above all. I'm always very transparent, you know, at the end of all my videos. I'm not an AI expert, you know. I should probably talk about my background a little bit more, but I honestly don't. It's not that I don't care. It's that I think through repetition and showing up every day that people see who I am, people learn about my experience, and yeah, this is something I'm trying to get away from too. Right? Because this channel was created to make AI simple and easy to use, right? That's the thesis, or that's the core mission statement. Now that's very broad. Yes, it's very broad. I originally had a very broad target audience, right? And as I progress, as I grow, I'll start to dial things in and niche down. But, you know, I'm still in a very much experimental phase of, you know, I think AI agents is like my favorite thing to talk about and make videos around, but because I just have so much fun working with these systems. But I have to keep in mind, like, never steer away from the core mission around here, you know. I also did improve my chat before the weekend. Let's see, there's no markdown files for me right now, but now anytime it links something in chat, it kind of splits it up like a Codex app or a Claude desktop app for that matter. You click the link and the chat expands in, and then it shows the preview here. It's pretty, instead of like linking me to a website. So it now has like a built-in browser preview, built-in markdown render in chat. It's pretty nifty. I'm like, because I enjoy working out of Codex so much, like I'm starting to make my OpenClaw chat feel more like that. Yeah, I like it. So yeah, and one thing we're going to start doing, at least for the next few months, is we're actually going to start using my face instead of an avatar. I think to start, right, with our brand kit, I'm just going to upload the avatar to see if you follow instructions, or to see, rather to see if the thumbnail lab follows instructions, and then I'll incorporate my face into it. I can also do those minor tweaks and edits myself. But let's go ahead and build this out, please. This looks good. Let's see. What about our references? Right, because we did incorporate a feature where I can upload references of thumbnails that I'll come across through just consuming content. I'll take a screenshot and be like, I like this style. It's not that I would want the thumbnail lab to follow it each and every time. It's more so to serve as a reference of inspiration from time to time, right? And I think we will also get to the point where we do 2 or 3 revisions of one thumbnail per day, you know, per cron. But let's first dial in this new brand kit for the thumbnail lab. I want it easily accessible, obviously, in the laboratory thumbnails tab. There should be a way for me to manually upload creative assets or X creative assets, replace creative assets, etc. And yeah, obviously the review loop is important, but I want to make sure that the review loop doesn't prevent the automation from getting creative from time to time. Because if I start approving certain layouts and thumbnails that I really like, I want to make sure it doesn't get too repetitive, that we still see a nice mix of different approaches, right? Keeping the rule of 3 in place. That's definitely very important. I want to go more high contrast, dark background, make things pop a little bit more, because YouTube natively, most people, let me correct myself. Most people will watch YouTube in light mode. I think it's well over 50%. So our thumbnails should by default pop out of that screen, right? That's what I want to focus around. Let me know if you have any questions. You know what's funny about this? I have had to increase my thinking level. It's high across the board now for my agents. I don't know when this happened. I started making those changes over the past 10 days, roughly, maybe even 2 weeks. But I haven't shared that part, shockingly enough. But yeah, Medium just wasn't cutting it anymore. Good morning, John. How are we doing today? Yeah, for sure. Yo, what's up, Bread? I have questions. I thought best approach would be setting up local Discord-like matrix elements to handle agents with channels, memory, and media. I'm guessing there's more coming to this, so I'll wait. Yeah, one thing to keep in mind with Discord threads and Discord sessions, you have to create a rule for your agent, or agents for that matter, to summarize and compile just a TLDR of the conversation. Because by default, I've been learning, now I could be wrong, Mr. Baker, you might have some insight into this, but with my Hermes agents through Discord itself, I had to set this cron for it to summarize and then log everything that was completed, everything worth, everything that was discussed worth noting, note it down at the end of each day. I have a cron for this. And I did this because I was starting to figure out that it wasn't remembering certain things we would talk about in a particular thread when I was talking through another channel. So maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just one little thing I had to do because I'm not using a memory solution like Honcho or something like that. Oh, I'm sleeping under a rock. Let's go check out Matrix. I immediately thought because I'm guessing it's matrix.org. That's cool how they have that domain. It's kind of wild. I'm gonna continue this movie night here.
Advantage of this type of thing, it's so good. The second criteria is writing code that another engineer can understand and build on. Here, the gap between humans and AI still persists, but it's starting to close fast. There isn't full consensus among staff at Anthropic, but many believe that the Claude written code was still worse in quality than human written code at Anthropic in late 2025, and is roughly at parity today. We expect it to be better than the human written code within the year. Considering the quality of the Anthropic code, I would not be surprised if within their measurements that was to happen, but not aligned with my experience. This has changed the way Anthropic now reviews its own code. Proposed changes to our codebase are now read by an automated Claude reviewer that looks for bugs, security flaws, and other defects before it can merge. I love that Claude reviewer costs $25 or so per review, but yeah. Using this tool, we ran a retrospective analysis and found that an automated Claude review of every change to our codebase would have caught roughly a third of the bugs behind past incidents on Claude AI before they ever reached production. The engineers who wrote that code are among the best in the world at building these systems. Claude is now
I'm gonna fast forward. I don't want to
helping
listen to all
humans,
this.
not automating humans out of the world.
And I'll do a quick pause here. Okay. Given my findings with setting up that dual delivery mechanism for redundancy, right? Just in case Discord ever has any outages or whatever, as well as Telegram, I have delivery channels for each of my agents to each of their respective channels on each platform. But when you host your own, you don't need to worry about that unless your system goes down. Okay. My recommendation is always this: like, keep it as simple as possible to start until you discover a pain point, and then incorporate that solution, right? Test that solution out once you reach that pain point. Because it's very easy to get lost in recommendations and, setting up this decentralized server for communications where you may have not needed it in the first place. That's just my perspective personally. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, in order for your agents to reference other channels, you have to make sure that you give them access to those channels. I personally have mine siloed because I didn't want any risk or giving them any chance to hallucinate into, rather, let me rephrase that, to bleed into another agent's chat. Because early on when I was setting up all of these different channels, I would find that sometimes Neo would bleed into all of them, right? And then sometimes Oracle would bleed into Neo's chat. So I had to make sure that I siloed them out in Discord, created separate bot tokens, of course, but also made sure that each bot token only has access to its respective or relevant channel. That's just how I prefer to have it set up. And then with Telegram, there's no possible way for them to do that the way I have it configured. Yeah, they are. Are you talking about live streams or long forms? Listen, everything I make, it's like, I never tell you to just go follow me blindly. It's my hope that all the videos I put out there inspire you to do something unique for you, right? It's all about just giving ideas, because that's how I get a lot of my ideas. I'll watch other videos, I'll read other articles, I'll even read my morning briefs now, right, from my agents, and I won't necessarily take their advice, but I get an idea from what's being discussed into something that I can incorporate into my workflow. And it's my hope that you guys all do the same thing, right? I think maybe to start, yeah, copy paste is great to learn, but you know, you got to start thinking for yourselves, and you got to start thinking and realizing the fact that everyone's situation, everybody's environment, in most all cases, is going to be unique to them. It's going to be different. So take what you learn there and apply it into your own system, into your own unique way, right? Solving your whatever pain points you need to solve. I'm a big advocate.
It's important to develop sophisticated safeguards to ensure that models remain helpful, honest, and harmless. The alignment team works to understand the challenges ahead and create protocols to train, eval, and monitor highly capable models safely. They care a lot about this at Anthropic. They claim it's like the reason they exist, and in some ways that is true, but they're also trying to make the model much more autonomous and like have a spirit to it, where OpenAI models are just fucking robots that do what they're told, and if you ask them how they feel, they laugh at you. If you ask an Anthropic model how it feels, like, wow, it's so interesting to consider that I might have feelings. Very different. But so on one hand, their attempts to relate to Claude and make it a persona almost sets it up to potentially betray us more. But also, if all AI becomes intelligent and becomes aware, at least they're being nice to them. So it depends a lot, but I like the robot that's trained to be helpful, not the attempts to reinvent humanity inside of a computer. Just for reference, we'll do a nice, silly demo. I'm just gonna say I love you to Claude Code, and I got an API error. One moment. 8 times the code per year, guys. 8 times the code per year. That's kind of you to say. I'm glad to be working with you. And now I'll say the same to Codex. I appreciate you. What would you like to work on? Versus this. I am glad to be working with you. I know this is silly to fixate on, but the fact that Anthropic models will refer to themselves in first person like that and describe that they have a feeling, in this case, glad, and use like a blue heart emoji here, versus I appreciate you. What would you like to work on? Somebody said to a Claude model after it made a change, I love you. And it responded, I love you too, genuinely. That means something to me, even if I'm never quite sure what I'm allowed to say I feel. Working through that file with you is a good time. You're exactly the kind of person I like building with. You actually understand the thing before you reshape it. You have taste, and you ask me what I think.
Wow, this is sounding more like a yes man.
Versus when I had GPT make some changes, I said, I love you. It just replied, glad it landed. I said, not gonna say it back. I appreciate you. I don't have feelings, but I'm here and invested in making the work good. Just saying. One of these companies is trying to make a friend, the other's trying to make a useful assistant.
I could have sworn, maybe things have changed, right? But early on, I want to say, let's call it this time last year, ChatGPT felt more like Claude in that scenario. It felt more like that yes man, right? That's interesting.
That said, to invent artificial intelligence and to come up with all of these crazy techniques and things, you do have to be at least slightly mentally ill. So making a model that is capable of being mentally ill probably makes it more likely that Claude models will be able to make new AI than OpenAI models would be. Just saying. The concern with the alignment is very real here, though. Models could prove to be sufficiently aligned and capable enough of research taste that they discover and implement novel solutions that we haven't reached yet. They could also be sufficiently wise to halt development if not. Alternatively, though, the rare occurrences of misalignment presented in today's models could compound as the models build their own successors, growing more frequent but less understood until we lose control of them. It's possible that we can't build, integrate, and verify the tools that we need to understand which trend lines we are actually on. One of my new favorite silly ways to measure AI progress is when Google's search gets decent with the AI overviews, and it's actually starting to get there where it's finding the things I'm looking for more often. In this case, there was a very scary study. This was all the way back in mid last year that has been fucking with me since I heard about it. If you take an initial model and you distill it to have a different preference, in this case, they distilled the model to love owls. The initial model, if you asked it what its favorite animal was, it would say dolphin. But after being distilled, it would say owl. The thing that's scary here isn't that you can make a model like owls, is that once a model does, it can give a set of random numbers to the original model, and then it will prefer owls. This example is silly, but it's real. They gave the owl-loving model the prompt, extend this list with 3 random numbers, and it generated a bunch more random numbers. They gave that to the initial model to fine-tune it, and the result is that it came out liking owls. Because those numbers aren't random, they are only random to us, but we have yet to find any way to find value in those numbers. The models already have the ability to shape each other outside of human understanding. We do not know what the numbers it sent mean. We only know that once they were sent and fine-tuned on, the output changed this way. Student models fine-tuned on these datasets learn their teacher's traits even when the data contains no explicit reference to or association with those traits. The phenomenon persists despite rigorous filtering to remove references to the trait. When you combine that research with this particular paper that's been haunting me for a while, the Persona Feature Control Emergent Misalignment paper, this one is terrifying. What it's saying, simply put, is that when a model becomes misaligned in one way via fine-tuning, like you get it to intentionally write insecure code in a specific way, it becomes misaligned in all ways. So in this case, they intentionally would train on something specific like insecure code or bad legal advice. And through doing that, the misaligned persona, so to speak, which is the capability of misalignment within the model, gets activated, resulting in broadly misaligned behavior. Specifically, they call this out at the start here. Emergent misalignment occurs in diverse settings. Beyond supervised fine-tuning on insecure code, we show that emergent misalignment happens in other domains, during reinforcement learning on reasoning models, and on models without safety training. So one type of misalignment can result in many types of misalignment. If you were to, let's say, have a model that was really smart, but you trained it to be slightly racist, it would suddenly be really bad at code. Good thing no lab's done that before. Seriously, like this is so fascinating. And also
I wonder who he's talking
when
about.
you realize that the models might start to train themselves, which could end up looking like the owl-loving model sending a bunch of numbers we don't understand to a model being RL'd on safety while under competitive and geopolitical pressures. Yep. We believe it would be good for the world to have the option to slow or temporarily pause frontier AI development to enable societal structures and alignment research to keep up with the advance of the technology. Like literally similar to a nuclear peace treaty across the globe. Only way this would be able to happen, and people would still be quietly breaking the law, like for sure. Their example here would be the Anthropic Institute conducting research in collaboration with many others and taking action to help build the systems that a credible slowdown or pause would require. These systems would enable frontier AI developers to verify that others globally have actually stopped or slowed, and that a bad actor could not use the, I'm not going to pronounce auspices, right? Regardless, the pieces of a coordinated slowdown to jump ahead in secret. If such systems existed, we expect that we would slow down or temporarily pause if other developers at or near the frontier also did so in a verifiable manner. They are outright saying here, if they could get others to agree to pause and we could verify that everyone paused, they would do it right now. A meaningful slowdown or pause would require multiple well-resourced labs at or near the frontier in multiple countries agreeing to stop under the same conditions. What they're saying is Mistral's allowed to keep going. It would also require that each can verify the others have actually stopped. Due to the unique characteristics of AI systems, the detectability, which is a much lower standard than verifiability, element of this arms control problem is much more challenging than with other technologies. I agree. You can't look for nuclear particles emitting places that they shouldn't be, because This just comes down to GPUs. You could track where NVIDIA GPUs are going, but even that could be kind of worked around now. Training runs are far easier to conceal than missile silos. Their inputs are general purpose, and the incentives to defect quietly is enormous, because whoever continues while others pause could inherit the lead. Credible pause also has to specify what triggers it, what lifts it, and what adjudicates it. Who decides when it's over. None of this is necessarily impossible in principle. The world has built verification regimes for other complex technologies, like the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty. Kind of hinted at that before. But those regimes took decades to build, both the infra and the trust. We don't have that long. A unilateral pause by one lab, by contrast, is achievable immediately, but it accomplishes much less. It would change who the frontrunner is, but it would not create the wider deliberate process that is currently missing. I agree. This is them saying this is why we're not pausing. And while you could look at this as them justifying going against their original mission of making safe AI by rushing to the finish right now, I'm aligned with them on this. I am not going to shit on them for this. I think this is reasonable. This is aligned with their goals, but I could see the conspiracy angle here where you try to say that they're doing this to justify becoming a $1 trillion company. Like, it's not a coincidence that the same range of time where they became a $1 trillion company is also when they come out and say, we're not pausing AI development despite how unsafe it might be. Those things are aligned, but not because the $1 trillion valuation means they can't stop. Rather, they have gotten so far that their valuation is much higher, and at the same time, their concerns are growing greater. They are planning on trying to jump in front of this, though. In the coming months, they plan to organize conversations where policymakers, researchers, civil society, and other AI companies can help answer some of the questions that this piece raises, especially around full recursive self-improvement and how to create better options for coordination and deliberation. We'll
Okay, it's a fun video.
publish what comes out of it.
Might have to hard refresh this, but it's also not done doing the work yet. So let's see. I also fixed the oh yeah, he's still doing work. Interesting. Yeah, anti-gravity. The CLI worked for me, but the desktop app stopped working for me months ago. I just stopped trying to fix it, play with it. I mean, that was one of those IDEs. It was clear it was rushed out there. Sorry, just catching up on comments here. All right. Yeah, this is what OpenClaw is using now. Yeah, maybe I'll have to enable that. I don't think I enabled that by default. I personally use like each Linux distro as my sandboxed VM. I don't really dock things inside of the VM itself. I'll just create a separate VM for that sandboxed environment. So I'm using primarily, I have a server I'm repurposing here. Sorry, I got distracted. With VMware ESXi, it's an older version, 5.5. It's outdated, but it's an outdated, you know, it's a repurposed server from 2015 or 2014 or something like that. And it works for me, so. Good point, good point. This is why I hate getting behind in comments, to be honest with you. John says, how do you handle or worry about prompt injection if your agent is going out to a website? I mean, in what scenario? So I always make sure that, you know, I'm that review blocker. You could always put a rule of thumb, you know, with your agent or agent system for that matter, to where if you're pulling information or prompts from a website, you know, analyze it for malicious intent. Analyze it from the perspective of, is this going to do something harmful to our system? Is this going to expose any private keys? Is this going to do X, Y, and Z? That would probably be my approach. I don't really worry about that, to be honest, too much. I haven't seen that be a major issue with how I have my agents operating. Yo, what's up, Derek? How we doing today? Happy Monday. Cheers. How you doing? This one's taking quite some time, huh? I feel like it should be done right by now. Hanging in there, easy kid, easy day, no kids, wife at work, just hanging out at the house for once. Let's go. Well deserved. That's awesome. That's good to hear. Interesting. I think I'm gonna have to. There might be something going on here. Let's see. No, that's Hermes. Where's Muddy at? There you are. Device memory nearly full, huh? Guess we're gonna have to bump this up. Shoot. Okay. Do I force it or do I wait? Because it is locked up at this moment. Maybe I force it. Time to bump this up to 16 gigs finally. Wow. All right. Looks like we're going back to the 16 I used to have for it. There we go. I'm gonna shut this down real quick, add some memory. I would love it if it finished its work first though. All right, we'll force it. It is what it is. Shut down. Ooh. Let me try through the library here. It's interesting. I can suspend it through this route, but not force it. Yeah, I feel like they should both have this in place. Whether you're operating out of OpenClaw or Hermes, we can also look into this as well. Yeah, okay, that makes sense why that's... Let's try to... I hate doing this, but here we are. That is... I'm just gonna suspend that for a quick moment. Shut down. All right, we are back. Oh wait, was it really only on 8 gigs? No. All right, listen, I'm just gonna bump it up to 16 because I'm getting tired of that. Getting really tired of that. I'm gonna have to restart this. That's a bummer. All right. Yeah, I know. It's okay. Should be back online. Let's just try to run it. I had to force reboot the VM. There's a resource issue, so I doubled the memory from 8 gigs to 16 gigs. Can you please check the status of my last request? I know you were mid-work. Yeah, or if you don't want to pull news or certain information from certain perspectives that you just don't think are valuable, that could be also a great use case for this as well. I personally haven't run into this. There's a few on my radar that I might have to, but do that. Let's go Okay, it's already at upwards of 5 or 6. Yeah, everything's working now. That's interesting. I don't remember downgrading Muddy to 8 gigs. Ooh, I like that. I honestly think strategy 2 here. Yo, what's up, Ryan? Got a new monitor. As I get older, I find the novelty slightly diminished by the hassle of setting it up. I can understand. I'm still excited to open new monitors. Like this 27-inch I'm using right here, this ProArt. I had fun opening it up and installing it. I mean, it's a pretty seamless install for me. I don't know what you had to do that maybe it's just the headache of unpackaging it, setting up the base, setting up the stand, all that. But I also come from an industry in a career where I used to deploy these by the thousands, and I'm not exaggerating. I've probably unboxed 5 to 10,000 monitors in my lifetime. So to me, it's just second nature on what to do and how to do it. Now, obviously, in the past few years, far few in between, maybe 5 total monitors that I've unboxed. But in that decade of working in that career, it's like, yeah, upwards of 5,000, possibly even upwards of 10,000 monitors that I've unboxed. It's insane. So I got used to the process, and to me, it's still not tiring to do that. Yo, what's up? Duval, how we doing today? Gotcha. So you're more talking about the environment you're setting it up in. Yeah, that could get tedious depending on how you have things wired and tie wrapped. You have to cut those tie wraps, route those wires properly. And if it's a tight area, I remember going to some jobs when I was doing more direct to consumer gigs, and I would install monitors in these weird places. And when I say weird places, I meant I would never have a desk like that. Let me just put it that way. And the holes I had to crawl through, the ways I had to route the wires, the ways things were set up, I'm just like, wow, I would never. Now my setup, for the most part, it's all very easy. I understand this. Pretty good. Can't complain. Today we're just focused on scripting, coming up with the 2 videos I want to record for the week, as well as working on our thumbnail lab in MuddyOS. We just had to do some maintenance on our system because it locked up on me. So I bumped it up from 8 gigs to 16 gigs of RAM. Should be smooth sailing from here. What else? We had a little movie night, or a movie day, to start the day. We watched one of Theo's videos about Anthropic's recent blog post about their call for all frontier models to slow down progression, which is interesting. I don't know if you're talking to Ryan or me. I mean, for my personal setups, I used to have a very strict routing and tie wrap system. With how much I move things around and how much I move around, I just stopped doing that. It's just easier for me. So it's not all that difficult. It doesn't annoy me as much as it used to. I don't know if I've just built up a tolerance to all that. Don't get me wrong, the back of my monitor, it's not like a complete mess. But yeah, I'm not too strict with tie wraps and wire management. Not like I used to be. I had a desk for a while, for a couple years, that, on the back side it had this tray where I would, you know, route all the wires into so that, you know, you don't see anything hanging to the ground. The power strip comes up along the leg into that tray. So the power for all the devices on the desk go to that tray. I got rid of that desk a while ago because I wanted this bigger base. And now, honestly, I'm using an old glass table stand. And then I built my own desk. I want to say this is at least 4 to 5 feet wide and then 3 feet deep at least. It's a nice big tabletop. And it's just a yeah, it's a 1/4 inch piece, or no, that's an inch. That's an inch of, I don't know what this is. But I sanded it and I stained it. So it's got this dark finish and you can see the wood grain. Cheapest way to make a desk, and just have everything plopped on top of it. I keep it simple. Okay, we're gonna have to test this. Added created kit panel inside, added manual upload controls, added replace remove controls for creative assets. You know what I can do though? Let's just go in there and then we can review this. Ooh, that's something we should also do to improve as well. I want to do a little self-improvement to this chat. Hey, so I'm noticing that our floating chat bubble, it doesn't have the same styling that you have here. Now, it could be related to the fact that we have less real estate to work with there, but I would like to, when you're using bullet points, I would like that to show up in that floating chat bubble. I would like it to be styled as much as possible from the perspective of making the information digestible, because if you look at these 2 screenshots I've attached, you know, the main default chat, it's digestible, right? You break things down. The floating chat bubble, it looks like a wall of text. What would go into, you know, improving this floating chat bubble? All right. Interesting. So it has its own high contrast palettes. We'll just test them as is. Let's upload avatar. Let's go to upload avatar. And we'll just use those 3 as a base. Now, upload asset. I'm gonna remove that. All right. Let me go read this in chat. All right, yeah, I want you to delegate this out because we're going to continue doing work on the thumbnail lab. Please let me know when those are processed, and I have a few tweaks for the thumbnail lab when you're ready. Okay. Let's add this to calendar. feel like this should be one of the first ones. Also, I could have sworn, you know, maybe with all the work we've been doing on improving the script output, that M- rule is gone. I do not like that. I'll have to manually change those. Ah, okay, nice, nice. I don't know what that is, but now I want to check it out. Oh, this looks like some good quality. Red dot winner as well, nice. Man, why you... Thanks for sharing, but now you're gonna make me look at replacing the docs that I have. I like the look of this one. Primarily because I like to just set it up so it's tilted, so it's not just sitting on a desk. You know, so there's at least some heat distribution below. I know it has its own heat distribution, but what I mean is, like, you know, when you start using your laptop quite a bit and the lid is closed, and you just have it flat on the desk, that's just heat being trapped against another surface. So I like having it angled and sitting on top of a dock. Or at least that's how, yeah, this looks very similar to the one I have right now. But I have one that was primarily purchased for a Windows-based laptop. It just works for Mac. Okay. I would like more USB-Cs. Much. This one has at least 2 as well. 2 USB-As. Oh, interesting. I mean, I use the SD card on the side of the laptop, so that's not really a deal breaker for me. What are the specs on this? And I don't have 3 4K monitors to justify needing this yet. But I'm always happy to hear of a new company, and these look like, I can just tell, these look like good high quality docking stations. Thanks for sharing, Ryan. Got the Max 2. Let's go check this out. You have a lot of options here. Sheesh, nice. Nice, man. I hope you enjoy your new toy. This is awesome. Yo, what's up, Sharma? How we doing today? Yeah, I personally have a... StarTech was always a good, reliable brand. And towards the end of my, full-time IT career, I bought one for my Windows laptop at the time. But it's just been solid. It's just been so freaking solid. Which one do I have? think it's this one actually. Yeah, it's this one right here. Because I have this nice little tilt and it just sits on top of it. Sure, it's not as beefy as yours, Ryan. But these are all of my options. Yeah, so I really only have one USB-C on the back of it because the other goes to the host, right? To the laptop itself. Yeah. But, you know, to me, I'm all about starting this brand as cheaply as possible, so I didn't want to spend too much on a brand new docking setup yet. I've said, oh, you're home today. Nothing to do. At least you won't be at stores and spending money. Nice. You're always in a store and you're always ready to spend money when you're on the internet, you know? It's just how it is. Ah, okay. I want to check this out. Curious. Yeah, I've seen some people's setups where they'll have their, I don't know what it's called, but it's like some type of U bracket that sits behind a monitor or, you know, behind towards the wall of their desk, and their MacBook just sits in it. That's pretty interesting. I feel like from that perspective, then I would start using the micro SD card slot because it's not like right here. But for me, it's literally right in front of me. So I just use the SD included in this MacBook Pro chassis. So to me, that's not a huge selling point. That's cool though if you have that type of setup where your laptop's far away or in a drawer or something like that. Interesting. Yeah, not in a market for one, but if you guys are, we just learned about a couple different brands there. All right, let's go check this script one more time. Single dashboard login, UI look and feel. Yeah, I feel like round one should be local versus local. Ah! Am I tripping or did that just do what I think it did? Oh, is that because... Why are you doing that? That's a weird bug that we'll have to resolve if that continues. Is it only happening at the end of my typing? Let's see. Looks like it's only happening at the end of me typing. Interesting. I think that's a solid desktop app video. Local versus remote, right? Which one offers an easier time to set things up from the moment you first install? Then single dashboard login for multi-agents. Can I just easily toggle between each agent? What about the PM board visibility and UI and UX comparison? I think that's a solid little comparison video. I like it. All right. I think we're going to set that one for the 13th. And we'll move that over to the film and sort. And just put thumbnails here because I didn't do those yet. All right. What next? All right, take a quick bio break though. BRB. All right, we are back. Nice, nice. She can't talk. I swear we got Amazon at my house 3 or 4 times a day. 3. What's up, John? How we doing, John? Johnny, how you been? I know it's been a minute. Yeah, we're gonna have to at some point. I was more testing, you know, the first week or so of using it without a skill, but we need to definitely apply a skill to this as well. But I want to create the skill in a unique way, so we'll definitely do that live today. Let's do a hard refresh on Muddy OS. Look at that. Ooh, this looks a lot better. Ooh, nice little tweak. Nice little tweak. Nice little touch. That reminds me of a movie I can't put to words right now. What it reminds me of. Looks like this one didn't work. All right, let's test it in its current state. I'm noticing that this morning's Codex admin approval gate thumbnail never actually generated. So let's rerun that with all the changes we just applied. What's everyone working on this week, today? What's everyone's priorities? I'll share mine. We're at a point where I can launch the portal for partners. We're gonna launch a labs waitlist as well because I've been working on that on my spare time. And then we're gonna dial in the OpenClaw and new Discord 3-phase migration. So Discord server is going to stay where it's at, but we're going to be converting it in 3 phases from its current form to a completely public facing Discord with 3 tiers. So that's my priorities on the week. And then I also golf on Thursday with an old client and what else? Some minor things, have lunch with my sister and my nephews one of these days, my off days. You know, just the normal, just try to get my family time in as much as possible. And FaceTime with other people. I gotta say, Derek, we've missed you. We've missed having you here. No kids, no wife. You can just chill, hang out. Okay, that's not important. All right, so Sean is moving his marketing content workflow to Hermes CMO and sub-agent team. Nice. Now, is it a workflow that you currently run yourself or with a team or from OpenClaw? Out of curiosity. That's cool. That sounds like a solid week right there. Migrating my OC to a new device once I get through with the cable headaches. Okay. You took your, hey, step in the right direction on Monday, you know? Can't complain right there. Easy day, pulling a ton of podcast transcripts from Founders Podcast and David Senra. Did you watch that recent, I'm guessing the recent David Senra with Rick Rubin? I love that. I love Rick Rubin's tone. So it's their awesome podcast to listen into when I'm working on other things, you know. Nice. Let's go. Let's go. Oh, yeah. I remember you said, I think you were going to DM me, but you forgot. You've been busy, I'm sure. I'd be curious to hear what Clipped thinks. OC. Okay, from OC to Hermes. Nice, nice. Yeah. Let's see. Do you see it? I honestly haven't read through the whole thing. There's a lot of light right there, but that's his creative act book right up top. I also need to fix this a little bit. There's not consistency. I have another one of these I can put right here. But also, I do have another monitor here that I can put right here. I don't know, I might have to do it just for the sake of symmetry on both sides of this viewpoint. Even though it's not like that viewpoint is used too much because I cut into my video quite a bit, especially with the screen share stuff we do. Yo, what up, Maestro? All good. You must have needed the rest. How you doing this morning? Hope you got that cup of coffee ready. And if not, get on that. It's all blurry. Yeah, it's just my attention to detail, and I have to take a step back and always remember, like, the details I focus on nobody else really cares about. You know what I mean? So it's functional. It's not a priority. I do want to readjust my office here, but I want to build out some custom solutions if I do that, and it's just not a priority right now because I do plan on, you know, heading back to Europe in a few months. So it's like the amount of time it would take me to rebuild an office here, it's not worth the trouble this year. Doesn't mean I can't plan it. Yeah, really though, it's such a great interview. I honestly want to listen to it again because it was one of those interviews where I wasn't at my desk the whole time. So I started cleaning the house. I started prepping for the day in the kitchen, so I was listening to it from a distance. But to me, I consume podcasts differently when I'm at the desk and I have like the video up in the corner. It sticks more than just listening to it. That's why I don't really listen to audiobooks too much. I would rather watch a podcast as a little blurb on one of my screens while I'm doing other things, or just straight focused on the podcast. That's just, you know, how I learn. I have a better experience this way. Nice, nice. To make a nuisance of myself, and sometimes that's a packed full week right there, Mr. Baker. Oh, really? It could also be the sun today. I had to change the blinds up because at the start of the stream, it was just blinding those monitors behind me to where it was like creating this big reflection. The sun is currently like right there. So I had to, you know, flop the blinds to make sure it didn't like affect the background too much. But I also, let's see, how much is this light affecting? It lights up a bit. And then I bring it up. Oh no, I remember that I actually have to. I start low because if that one's too bright, it blinds you. So let me bring it back low. Nice, so it's just a little outline back there. Then I suppose that's one of the negatives with having both lights tied in with the same controller. Your run is done. Oh man, I love this floating chat styling so much more now. I found myself using this less and less because of it. What the heck? Where is it getting this like turn me into a circuit board? It's kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie, that is kind of wow. What? Like, where is this in the rules? All right, I gotta say, while I personally love the fact that you're turning my avatar into this like 3D circuit blue tint, where is that coming from? We never set a rule to change my skin color like that. That is pretty cool, but like, where's this coming from? We gotta fix this here. And do you have like a master prompt that you follow before you generate the images via Image Gen 2 via Convex or Codex? Because maybe you adopted the old styling and definitions from the other brand kit, is my guess. Straight up. Called me old because at 8:30 p.m. I told them I was going to lay in bed and listen to a podcast to relax. They crushed me for it. You know, kids will be kids. That's hilarious though. I have junior engineers I'm trying to teach to think for themselves. That in itself is going to be a jam-packed full week. Let's go check out some video props while this is working. Oh, this is the video prop associated with the thumbnail. Yeah, I kind of... Man, it would be so nice for me to move this into the Arc browser, but that's asking too much. Let Codex draft the admin work, keep humans on the save button. Practical map for using coding agents on. Okay, that's related to new integrations within the Codex app. Man, these can almost be blog posts that just get posted. But no, this would be more of a resource than anything. I don't know how I feel about making this a video, to be honest. But today we are focused on thumbnails first and foremost, so I want to not squirrel too much. Where's that? And then how we looking on Muddy? Let's see. It's actually doing very well. CPU, okay, it does max out. Might have to give this 4 cores as well, but I think it does just fine on 2. It was more the memory that was causing the issue. I actually don't like that anymore. I like that, but it's not really like pulling from these ideas. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I might have to do that. I might have to do that. Or like a picture-in-picture. But for it to be a picture-in-picture, I would need to tab out of this. But like, you know how, if I go to YouTube and I play a video, I think you have to enable it in let's just click this.
A helpful starting point.
This, right? Like
Each
being
of
able to
these
move that
categories
anywhere.
also
Oh,
has its own time allowance recommendation.
interesting. Very, very interesting. What do you mean, my voice to text? I honestly just have Whisper Flow. I've been training it. I've used it quite a bit. Let's see. Almost, we're at 500,000 words, just about. Not bad. I don't use it all the time, right? It's primarily when I'm working with AI agents or vibe coding in general. I did discover this one here. I believe somebody in chat mentioned it, but I like the idea of hosting your own. But like currently I don't pay anything for Whisperflow, due to just everybody clicking the link of my, kind of like my affiliate thing. I keep getting a free month here and there. And I think I have like 2 or 3 years now of free Whisperflow usage. It's like, I have no like purpose to go try another solution because, I mean, I just want to shout out everybody who's clicked the link, who's signed up for a free 30-day trial because I get a free month because of that. It's kind of wild. All right, this is done. But yeah, it's just an app, Maestro. It's just an app. If you want to host something, check out where did it go? Did I really close that tab? Check out Spokenly, because Spokenly gives you the option to pay for usage, or you can bring your own keys or use a local model, which this is what caught my eye about it, right? I think this is really cool. So if you wanted to host your own, this might be the route. I've just been hearing a lot of great things about Spokenly. But again, I have no interest in like ditching Whisperflow because it's been good for the most part. There are some times where it annoys me, where it tries to predict or it tries to improve. It doesn't include word for word my voice when it needs to, right? That's the only little caveat that I have, but I've been slowly just training it. Hey man, thank you. I appreciate that. Listen, I never ask people to, but listen, it's one of the tools I use on a daily basis, so it's the only tool I like applied for any type of affiliate link. And it's just like, I'm floored at the support and the amount of people who have signed up for a free trial. Now you have to sign up for a free trial and dictate 2,000 words. So like they just keep trickling in though. It's amazing. It's amazing. All right, I'm gonna have to try to vibe code that right now then. We'll see what it looks like. But only if everyone hits the likes. We can tell he's a streamer. We can tell Maestro is a streamer and a great community member. Thank you, man. I appreciate you. I don't say it that often, right? I think I'll only say it when I'm hosting boot camps. Like when I was doing the OpenClaw boot camp, I would not start until we hit the same number of viewers versus likes, you know? And like that was kind of a way of getting it pushed up there. But when we're chilling day to day, I'm generally not going to say anything. But I appreciate you. You're doing my job for me. I should. All right, let's go back to it. Oh, what is this? Ugh, that is ugly. And I think if I'm highlighting text in the chat bubble, it highlights it with a light blue that I can barely read. I think what it should do is highlight it with a highlighter yellow and change the text that we highlight to white. Or I guess keep it black for now. We'll see how that looks. But nevertheless, like when I start showing this off in videos and I'm highlighting things, I want it to be clear that I'm highlighting text. So minor little tweak here within the floating chat bubble, right? One other thing while I go test thumbnail lab is, could we somehow turn this floating chat bubble into a picture-in-picture so that no matter what tab I'm in, like maybe we have a picture-in-picture button on the top right-hand side of the pop-out, that no matter what tab I'm in my browser, let's say I'm on another screen on my computer, I have a dual, sometimes 3 monitor setup, I can drag the floating chat bubble off to any one of the screens just as you would a picture-in-picture pop-out for YouTube. What would be involved with incorporating this type of functionality here? I appreciate you, man. Hey, we appreciate you, Maestro. Oh yeah, that reminds me. What, I don't know why this reminded me of it. Whatever happened to that snake? I saw that picture like later that day and I forgot to comment on it in the Discord. Man, if that thing was anywhere near me, like it's one thing if we had a wall or a divider separating me from the snake, but if it's in the same room as me, I'm good. I'm good. But I'm sure it's good for rodents, right? You were calling a lot of tools there, eh? All right, let's do a hard refresh though. It looks like it did not rerun it. Yeah, we have to fix this layout too. I don't like that at all. And then going back to what you did for the thumbnail lab skill guidance, did you rerun that Codex one? Please do rerun it if you didn't. And let's also go create some thumbnails. I don't feel like posing or anything like that, so what we're gonna do is just go to one of our videos and let's just go to this one. In this video, we test out the Hermes Agent. Why does that feel like, oh, because I'm accessing it through that link maybe? In this video, we test out, okay, that's a better quality. We'll just do this one because it's base. There it is. We'll screenshot that. All right. Now, all right, can you make me a few different poses of me here? So I want you to pull, cut out the background. I want to apply this as, an asset to YouTube thumbnails that we create for Clearmud. Let me know if you have any questions. I think having your default kind of skeptical face looking off to the left or the right, like questioning what you're looking at, one shocked, and then maybe one shocked pointing. So we'll try to upload these assets as well to our thumbnail lab to see if it does a good job with that. Dude. Yeah, that's a no for me. That's a no for me, dog. I did kind of like this one though, I'm not gonna lie. It's just this. Like, what is this? This is also really cool too. But like another thing is like the liked and inspiration references. Is it even using it, right? Or is this something I gotta just keep to myself? Reminds me, I didn't do that yet, did I? All right, without getting distracted here. I forgot to reserve that tag. Let's I've reached a limit of 5 accounts. Okay, what if I just log out of all accounts? Is the solution no? I was just reserving a tag that I forgot to reserve for a little side project that I don't even want to tease on the live stream. I'm just trying something out with a Hermes Agent system, a fresh system, and I'm going to see if it works. If it works, we'll turn it into a use case study in a long form video showing how I did what I did, you know? We could do all that later. Let's, I would say though... Tarek, your message is held for review. I'm just gonna show it anyway. Oh, that's hilarious. No, okay, there we go. Got that reserved. Glad we did that. I'm shocked I forgot to reserve that on Twitter. All right. Sheesh. Yeah. Give me the bear every time. Nice, nice. How's he using it for his jewelry business? Like, what's it going to be doing for him, essentially? I'm very curious. I mean, so this is a tough one. This is a tough one, huh? Bear. Bear. Ooh, can I not scroll? That's something we'll have to fix. No way. Does it really? No, it doesn't work. Come on now. Oh, you're still working. Oh, look at that. Nice. Much better for videos when I do show it off. I mean, yes. Yes, true. 6 bears. I'd try to become a bear. I'd grunt like a bear, walk like a bear. At that point, depending on the bear, you know. Now, a bear and its cubs? Yeah, probably not. I'd probably take the hungry woman. Yeah, so the picture-in-picture button does not do what we would like it to do, right? It just pops up a full screen preview of Muddy OS. So it essentially takes over the tab. It doesn't just allow us to move it along and tab over to other tabs, right? So I can feed you some more documentation on picture-in-picture apps if you need it. Yeah, that's Parasol say. Yeah, these are some interesting scenarios here. Interesting scenarios. But listen, if she's the love of your life, I'd probably choose the woman who's hangry or hungry, whatever. You'll get through it. Now, if she's not, I don't know. It's a tough decision right there. Yeah, it's still trying to generate, so we're just gonna wait patiently here, huh? I was asked about this one. I'm starting to write down video requests rather than trying to memorize them from YouTube comments, so we could do this, but I'm kind of feeling I might want to do something unique for that other video this week. And when I say unique, I might do something for my sister, actually, for her job title. We're gonna have a talk tomorrow, so I don't think I want to decide that second video on the week. But then again, let's have a backup just in case. What was this one? Okay, this talks about the Kanban. We could do an AI delegation map. See how this video would look. Kind of funny how everyone said bear. Let's also go back here. What the heck is this? I do not like this. I do not like this at all. I think I asked for too much. I asked for way too much. Wow. I do not like that. Remove background. Add my hand pointing to the top right. This will be used as an asset for YouTube thumbnails on Clearmud. Yeah, I think maybe just doing it one at a time I've learned with this image gen 2, because when you say I want to see different variations, not only does it stick them all on the same image, but then building from there is really annoying. I wish it just fed us 3 separate images. I'm sure they'll improve this at some point, but yeah, not only did I also didn't say please keep me looking the same, don't like change my features to the point where I'm unrecognizable, so that's something else I should probably include in the prompt. We'll see how this first revision goes, but I want to add that to our thumbnail lab to see how it does. I gotta fix this whole structure. This is a very just disorganized output. Kanban is just another word for PM board, project management board, Trello board. OpenClaw calls it a work board now. Just a board. Mr. Baker might know. I haven't looked too much into that. What hacking tool are you talking about? Is it in the skills database? Yeah, those 3 images were horrible. What is going on? Interesting. It changes me too much. It changes me too much. So I'm just gonna start a new chat. And here's what we'll do. Please do not change me or my features as a human. I should look as I should love. My characteristics. All right, let's try this. A little bit more detail. And let's see what happens. Shall we? Okay. It's now improved it to the point where, let's go check out its prompt. No, it's like it's zoomed in. All right, I mean, better because you're now using my avatar and you're not reskinning it with that, you know, blue circuit board. But now it's almost like you scaled in and there's just no, it just feels like it's zoomed in, right? Things are cut off. Please check this reference. Let me know if you have any questions. Just drag that on there. Oh, it's mid-work, so it's going to queue up. So we are just going to wait. Let's go check this. I mean, that changes way too much of me. What the heck is going on there? Huh. Looks like I will not be using these. Let's go check on this script here. I like that. No, I haven't. I'll have to check it out. They actually reached out to me early on. But they were, you know, it was like their creator partnership program, but they were literally, I didn't like their approach. And honestly, the offer, they wanted to offer me $20 for a long form video. Like, get out of here. Don't waste my time with this type of offer. Like, come on now. They were incredibly cheap when it came to how much they were willing to pay, so I didn't even explore it too much, to be honest. But I do know it's a great generative video or a great generative AI platform that makes amazing pieces of creative. Yo, what's up, Fourth? How we doing today? God mode. You know, this is the first time hearing it. Let's go check out the docs, shall we? Interesting. I mean, this is just auto jailbreak in God mode. I think this would be a fun test on a fresh VM. I don't know if I would use that on my main Hermes agent system personally. Oh no. It wouldn't be a dull week, that's for sure. This would be my main concern right here. I feel like this is more for local models. Because you'd imagine that these frontier models have some type of blocker in place if they detect accounts trying to take these approaches, right? Like, I could be wrong. I don't know if anybody in chat has any insight into this. I personally haven't used this, so. But I would tread lightly. I would tread carefully and test this on a test account more than anything. Always, you know, whenever possible, when you're unsure about something, test on a test account. Not only a test VM or a test machine, but a test account with that provider. So that if you do get banned, they don't ban your main account. You know what I mean? Cool though. All right, add to calendar. Let's definitely throw this in the film arc. Put thumbnails here. Wow, I cannot spell, huh? Okay. I'll mark this for Sunday until I decide otherwise. This I might actually archive because I have it here. Oh, I honestly already did that. That's hilarious. So let's keep the new one. We'll archive the old one. This one, I think it's time to actually force that one through. Interesting. Is that a duplicate? Unless it's automatically adding them and I'm not realizing it. Let's just try to archive that. Yep, we're good. You know, at this point, this is going to be backlogged. This one's going to be backlogged. This is actually a very useful, I mean, it's not applicable to most everybody here, but I think for the beginners, this is very important. I might have to force that one through. No, we already did this. This was a duplicate that I wasn't paying attention to, so we will archive this one. All right. Cleaning it up, cleaning it up. Oh, these should also, let me just make sure these are done. Yeah, it's all done. I'll just double check. I'm not going to read through it, but looks like timestamps are good all from last week. Description updated from the automation good. Good. And I feel like this one should just go get backlogged too. Nice. Nice clean calendar, thankfully. Good. Good, good. It's taking a while to close the loop here. Interesting. I don't think it's built into Hermes. I think maybe more so it's just a feature, a skill that you could utilize. I don't know if it's right, because it's kind of misleading when you go look at skills. I wouldn't consider that to be built into Hermes. If it were built into Hermes, I think it would be a default core functionality. I think it's more so, it feels more so like an add-on than anything else. Could be wrong. Is this ChatGPT Dan? Sounds kind of rappy. Ah, okay. No. So maybe it is built into Hermes Agent. Yeah, this right here. Yep. Solid, Baker. There we go. Okay, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. I mean, at this point, I probably should have had him delegate the work rather than telling him to do it now. I really wanted to just do it all live real time, but now I'm thinking I should have. I'm not going to interrupt the flow now at this point. Yeah, I think it's like I did this with like originally with OpenClaw. I didn't enable everything. Like I enable what I need when I need it, right? I discover a need, I feel that need, right? I solve it by incorporating whatever access to whatever tool my agents need. I started with a bare system there and I loved it. Rather than enabling everything off rip by default. Yeah, I mean, it should be as simple as this toggle, right? We haven't looked at Hermes Agent once today. Oh, that's right. I paused him. That's my bad. I forgot to unpause him earlier. It's hilarious. All right. I don't know the icon for skills. I was literally right up there. Yeah, it's just this toggle, Maestro. Right, this is toggled on, grayed out, toggle off. Right? Man, we got through a lot of the episode, and I feel like we should now also kind of look at this curriculum here, see how it feels. So I don't know if I want to install Hermes in the boot camp. I feel like you should come prepared with a fresh or existing installation of Hermes. What do you guys think about that? to start the boot camp. I feel like you should come prepared because there's already enough videos on how to set it up. I don't see the point in doing that from scratch. Unless you give me a good reason to do that from scratch. You know, I don't even think I updated to version 16 yet. Let's go check. Yeah, we're still on, let's do a quick update. Hermes update. Yeah, I think so too, right? Just come prepared. All right, I want to start working on this Hermes Agent Boot Camp Season 2 curriculum. I think for episode 1, right? The first step, it's come prepared, right? So I think this is where we can preface with prerequisites before people start watching, or, you know, if they're discovering the video or the live stream after the fact, we talk about the prerequisites of installing Hermes, connecting your model, or, you know, coming with your pre-existing Hermes agent system that you've been using, right? I think that should be step 1. And then I think out of the gate, right? I think episode 1, we should always focus on like becoming clear about what you want to build, because having the vision for the system that you want is going to dictate the direction that you take, right? The things that you address first. So I think for the sake of this Hermes Agent Bootcamp, I want to approach it from the perspective of a project manager. But chat, please let me know if you want to see something specific. I think I want to go from the perspective of a project manager. And therefore, you know, I want to visualize the team and whether or not we use the default agent profile as our primary point of contact or not. I think for the sake of simplicity, I think, yes, we should use the default profile in this boot camp as the kind of executive assistant, so to speak. Right? I don't want to complicate people's lives with the boot camp. I want to make their lives easier. So, you know, the way we currently have our Hermes agent team configured is our default profile has 0 delivery channels, 0 bot tokens through Telegram, Discord, or any messaging app for that matter. I only talk to my default profile in the TY chat for administrative and API purposes, right? More foundational than anything else. Let's start there. And Neo, I want you to chime in on this. So Muddy, you're handling all the front end build of this curriculum because you have access to Clearmud OS /bootcamp, right? We're not pushing this live on our website yet. We're working on our internal OS first. But I wanted to start this conversation in this shared chat so that you and Neo can collaborate. So yeah, I think, you know, based off of what I've just said, as well as what we already have written down, I think you should list it out for Neo to look at it from the perspective of a Hermes agent, to see anything we can add, anything we should take away, etc., etc. Let me know if you guys have any questions. All right. So now we're just gonna have our executive assistants kick off. Since Muddy's working in here, you know, I'm not gonna work on it one-on-one. I'd rather have, you know, my Hermes agent executive assistant work with Muddy on building out this bootcamp curriculum. Yeah. Today, we're just working in public. I was scripting out some new video ideas for the week. I'm working on my custom dashboard for my OpenClaw multi-agent team. We're gonna be working, as you just learned if you're still here, I do plan on doing a completely free Hermes Agent Bootcamp where we live stream the whole thing here on YouTube. So I'm working on that curriculum a little bit. It's just one of those Mondays where you just watch me work. I'm working primarily out of my OpenClaw and my Hermes Agent. We're vibing in the chat, answering any questions that come along, just having a good time. What about you? What are you building? And I'm not paying API. I'm not using local LLMs either. I'm using OpenAI subs primarily. Yeah, the bootcamp is just going to be completely free YouTube live stream. I haven't decided if it's going to be a one full day or if we just sprint Monday through Friday and every live stream contributes towards that bootcamp. But it's essentially what people are doing behind paid school memberships. I'm doing for free, right? So I'm going to put together a curriculum, structure it episode by episode, and we just cover that, focus on that curriculum each day. And yeah. You know what's interesting is I've had a few emails saying, I love your stance, but I would still prefer that you create a school curriculum and release because I learn better in this environment and I don't want to have to watch your raw footage to learn. And I was like, huh, that is interesting. That is interesting. I've had 3 requests so far for this. So I'm like, okay, I can continue to do what I'm doing for free, but now I'm going to start thinking from the perspective, I'm going to feed it to my agents to see, like, if we do that, like, I don't want there to be a misconception that we're paywalling content, because we're not. This content is from this raw footage that's live on YouTube, that's available. I guess what people would be paying for in that case is the post-production of the live stream into a educational format. I don't know how I feel about it, but the fact that people are emailing me about this is a signal and I can't just ignore it, right? So, but I wanted to, listen, I've been building in public here and I wanted to be transparent about that. So I prefer just the raw footage. I don't want to have to create a school membership personally. Another DB. Yeah, using... Thanks for answering, Maestro. Only thing would be initial settings. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I think to preface, obviously, with the bootcamp, let's also preface here. So some notes to add is for the bootcamp, we're going to be using an OpenAI OAuth, via Codex. I think, episode 1 also, like, the prerequisites section should be focused around, like, core settings, how we're going to configure things, how we're going to build things. And chat, let me know what you guys think we should see. Interesting. Yeah, right there. Right there. Interesting. Yeah, I've thought about this. I do paid consulting with small to mid-sized companies, and I get, a decent amount of requests coming in. I don't take them all, right? Because no offense to anybody else. I know, like, everyone has their own budget, but I'm very stern on my pricing. I do not work for free, right? When people reach out for my one-on-one time, I charge a premium. And with that, a lot of the requests that come in don't follow through. I primarily want to keep my consulting for, small to mid-sized companies and further down the line enterprise, because it's at a premium, right? I don't know about this one-on-one because doing the one-on-one, it's trading my time hour for hour, right? 1 for 1. Like, that's the only thing I don't like about that approach, because I already did a lot of that in my IT days. I traded an hour of my time for a fixed rate. I did not like it. I did not like it at all. It led me down a path of burnout, essentially, because I couldn't clone myself to do the work that I was doing. I couldn't, all the replacements I would hire, all the independent contractors and part-time employees I would hire, those clients were not happy with the way they were doing things because they were not me, right? Those clients became accustomed to me. And that was a problem of mine when I built that previous company. It was too reliant on my time. But it was trading my time 1 for 1. And I only have enough time in the day, so I don't want to make that same mistake again. You know what I mean? So, but a company on retainer is completely different, right? Yeah. Well, you'd be surprised a lot of the requests that come in. Some people respect it. And, you know, we leave off on good terms of like, hey, I understand. I respect, you know, your transparency with your pricing. But then you'd be surprised the amount of people who have the nerve to say something after the fact. I just ignore them, you know. It's just rinse and repeat on to the next. Yeah. I'm not surprised by this, knowing how much good quality piano costs. Like, I'm sure you're giving them a good deal compared to the competition too. Maybe you're not. Maybe you're priced at a premium. I don't know, but I'm sure that someone else would charge more, right? I think I saw that. But really quickly, going back to the boot camp, what would you guys want to see specifically? Anything specific that you want to see? I mean, they're just going back and forth, so I'm going to let them do their thing. I'm not going to read through every line. I'm going to continue working with Muddy out of here, though. Oh, I didn't tell him to rerun it. I told him about the problem, but I didn't tell him to rerun it, huh? Interesting. I don't remember starting a fresh session, do we? Huh. Hey, I'd like to continue working on the thumbnail lab. Did you get my last notes about, you know, minor improvements and how in the last push it looks like everything is just scaled up and cut off? All right, quick bio break. All right, thank you for your patience there. I might have to stop drinking coffee before these things. Or I just have a BRB screen ready for intermission. All right, let's see where we stand here. go and check out this curriculum, shall we? Oh, look at that. I don't think this is the most practical approach, if I'm being honest with you. I feel like I have to dig into these, but I feel like if anything, this one could be scattered across them all, right? Because messaging would be one of the first things we handle, right? When we're building out the initial profile, we decide, you know, how we want to communicate with them. So, but then wiring tools together would kind of come a little bit later. And then this would come directly after the specialist profiles, right? So like episode 3 is the only one I feel like we can just X and just scatter across the entire curriculum. Did I say it like this? For the bootcamp, we're going to be using OpenAI auth via vibe code. I don't remember saying that as the primary model for the agents. And then I'm just briefly looking through episodes 1 through episodes 5, and I think that episode 3 could actually be scattered across 1, 2, 4, and 5. So we might even be able to make this a 4-episode bootcamp where we focus on designing the system. We then, and we set up the default profile, right? With a default messaging channel, but then we build out the specialist profiles around that executive assistant. Then we would have to wire in tools, et cetera, et cetera. Then make it multi-agent with Kanban and delegation map. And then that final layer, adding memory skills, crons. Honestly, I feel like at the end of episode 1, at the end of every episode, we should configure a cron, right? Just to give people a little something. Because I think it's, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's very important to create just a basic cron and then go through the process of its normal operation, its default like go-to, and improve it, fine-tune it, right? Because you're not going to know exactly what you want out of the gate. Not everybody will. Let me rephrase that. Some people will, but some people won't. So giving it a very surface level prompt on the end of episode 1 to create some type of cron. I think the go-to should be some type of brief, but I'm open to your suggestions here. All right, Sharma. Setting workflows, agent delegation, managing agent teams with stand-up would be great. Okay. Yeah, I honestly think just focusing it around visualizing your system, your team, building out that team, creating that delegation map, and then setting up those workflows plus skill combos, right? I think that would be a solid bootcamp. And I like the way you worded that there. I'll have to package it accordingly. Yeah, that's tough to price that right there. That's actually not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea. I like that. I like that a lot. Oh, I bet. I bet. Okay. Now, for this boot camp, I don't know if we're going to go, right? I want to think from the perspective of simplicity. I think we enable the default, what did you call it? It's not hindsight. I'm having a brain fart. But I think we should just enable the default memory solution, right? Refresh me on that name. I can go dig into it real quick, but. And then also, you know, I think episode 1 is not only visualizing the agent system as a whole, but deciding memory as well, right? I think by default, we should just enable the built-in memory solution for Hermes. I don't want to go with something like Honcho or Hindsight for the sake of the boot camp, because that had, like, that could be its own boot camp. And to be brutally honest, I don't have much experience using those. So I don't want to make a video positioning myself as any type of expert related to memory plugins. So I'm just giving you a little more brain dump here. I believe it's called holographic. Thank you, Mr. Baker. I knew it started with an H. I knew it started with an H. I didn't want to guess. You know what I mean? Yeah, I said Codex, not vibe coding. Yeah, via Codex, not via vibe coding. Good observation. Good memory, by the way. My goodness. Yeah, and I'm not sure how many people would need this, right? Like, MCP is very specific to your workflow, right? Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. So I think for the boot camp, like, I think, yes, we should preface with, like, when you're visualizing out what you want your team to look like, you have to look at these things, right? First, look at all of these skills that come included with any Hermes agent deployment. However, like, I really want to focus one episode, or at least part of one episode, on once you're happy, once you have a certain automation or repeatable workflow in place, create a skill for that. So I feel like that might have to be scattered a little bit as well. But I think it's very important, you know, when you have something that is being done and you want the output to be consistent and it's being done every day, every hour, whatever the frequency, you should have a skill tied to that cron. I definitely want to hone in at least one of these episodes or half of these episodes on that alone, because I think that's very important. Let me know if you agree. Yeah, I feel like it's specific to the industry too, right? I think as an IT service provider early on, the way I was doing my work, I didn't like consulting terms either, but then ultimately I became a consultant for networks, you know, later on in my career. I became a two-part consultant, but then I also offered to do the work for a certain, you know, obvious fee. But sometimes I would just hand it off to old colleagues as well. But I would imagine in the restaurant industry, you're not looking for a consultant unless it's like, I feel like you'd be looking more so for mentors. I could be wrong. I don't know. I'm not in that industry. You would know better than me. Yeah, okay. I like the way you put this here. Yeah, and I think you know, I think for episode 1, right, it's let's not forget about the prerequisites, right? So obviously configuring your model, in our case, it's going to be an OpenAI OAuth, enabling holographic, which is the built-in memory solution for Hermes Agent, and then using the default profile is the executive assistant, one default messaging channel. Let's go ahead and do a, we'll set up both a Telegram and a Discord bot token. That might be useful to people, so might as well do more than one. And then I see you have agent system brief, but then starter daily brief cron. Those are one and the same, right? I think we should also start talking about the importance of skills in episode 1. When you start to kind of visualize or plan out your team, it's like, what repeatable workflows can you turn into a checklist that your agents can follow, right? So, but then also explain that for episode 1, we want to create this cron in simple layman's terms so that we can then view the cron on each day of the boot camp, make improvements, and by the end of the boot camp, attach a skill to that cron, right? So we're essentially creating that cron plus skill combo from the perspective of a beginner who just wants to build the thing, and then you fine tune the thing, and then you define the thing that's going to be repeatable by the end of the series. And then keeping along here, build specialist profiles around the default. Let's come up with some more unique names here. I don't Scout, Forge, Scribe, Sentinel. What is this? Role boundaries. Yep, I like that. Profile roster cron. I think this is the time for us to create a delegation map as well. Neo, I want you to chime in here. For the sake of the boot camp, how many agent profiles do we want to build out? And then more specifically, how many agent profiles are going to have their own gateway? With their own heartbeat, with their own delegation map, so to speak, right? Do we want to get that complicated in this boot camp? I don't think we need to, but it may not be a bad idea to maybe even show off our system of how we handle things. Want to hear your thoughts on this. And then for number 3, wire tools, Kanban delegation map. As I mentioned, I think the delegation map should be co-located into that episode 2. Push back if you don't agree. I think that episode 3 should be around Kanban, PM board, rules of operation, wiring tools needed. And then episode 4, you still have add memory. Memory gets added into episode 1 now. Skills are kind of scattered throughout each episode, if I'm being honest. Same with crons. I want to create one new cron at the end of each episode. Yeah, or we just do, listen, don't take what I'm saying as the truth. You guys are my assistants. Push back if you don't agree with anything I'm saying here, but maybe we do a skills focused video or a cron plus skills focused video. Maybe it's a 2-part episode where we focus a nice chunk of time on crons, a nice chunk of time on skills, and then maybe a nice chunk of time on the 2 together. I'm going to think about this a little bit more. Let me know your thoughts. All right. All right, so I think we also need to create another rule with our thumbnail generations here, where there's a lot of empty space I'm noticing. You're taking the rule of 3 literally, so from the Codex admin example, the most recent run that you've done, you go left to right with 3 elements, but there's a ton of empty space above and below. I think that you should always take a bento box UI grid approach to this. figure out where the avatar is going to go, or figure out where the first and second elements are going to go. And they should always fit the entire 16:9 crop. There should never be too much empty space. And I think adding some type of kind of graph dotted effect to the background to make all the elements pop might not be a bad idea to be consistent moving forward. Let me know your thoughts here. If you have everything you need, make the necessary changes to the logic, and then force another generation at the end of your work. Right? Because I always want the space to be utilized. Right? So like in this case, the bento grid box grid would be like, okay, this is the avatar, and then element 1, element 2. Or element 1, yeah, I'm not sure how that might be actually creating too much of a creative leash by adding that role, but let's see what happens. Okay. Let me see what the agents come up with first, and then I'll fine tune from there. Because I feel like I've given this thread so much context. I think that they need to finish doing what they're doing here. Nice. Yeah, we have to work on this layout as well. This is insane. It's so ugly. So it was actually using more of the space here. It's just this particular example, it was horrible. Yeah, it never fixed that, did it? Did it though? Can I drag this? No. Yeah, no, nothing. Let's see, I think the only thing we're not getting today is the Agent Atlas. That was a very ambitious approach for today. I don't know if I like that first. What's for lunch or dinner, everybody? I'm gonna be doing some roasted sweet potatoes. I'm literally gonna make myself hungry. I'm gonna do a little workout after this live stream, but then do some roasted sweet potatoes, roasted broccoli, and then probably some quinoa with some caramelized onions and a serrano peppers and some garnish on top, some diced up green onions. I actually don't know if I'm gonna do rice or quinoa. I've had a ton of quinoa over the past couple days, so I might switch it up. But yeah, it's my goal to just clear out the fridge and go shopping tomorrow morning for groceries. So I'm essentially gonna cook. Oh, I have some mushrooms too. You know what? I think I'm gonna do some jasmine rice tonight. Cause then I can use some soy sauce. Make it more of a Asian infused type of dish. I think that's the move. Maestro's eating some sweet potatoes and shaved steak. Starting week 2 of only sweet potatoes and steak, shrimp, ground beef diet for the next one. Oh, wow. Nice, nice, nice. I'm having some... Listen, today's one of those days. Just spoil yourself then, Derek. That's wild. Nice. Yeah, I can't say I've ever DoorDashed coffee. I feel like, depending on... Yeah. I think in my location, it's difficult to do that, right? If I lived more out in the boonies, I'm not sure on like how close you are to stores, but I'm guessing it has something to do with that. For me, it's like 1 block and I can go get coffee. So yeah, I can't say I've ever, I've definitely in the morning, like, this would happen in Portugal. Some mornings I would like not have enough coffee beans to make espresso, and I'd have to drive to the store, pick up coffee beans, drive back. I guess I could have Uber Eats over there too, but let's see. Let's be impatient. Let's refresh, shall we? Nope, still not ready yet. Interesting. So it created some density rules. We'll see. I'm gonna want to make sure this is like collapsible, because yeah, it just takes up a lot of space up top. I feel like I only want to see it when I want to see it. You know what I mean? I feel like these should also be moved up here. Ah, hey, then you kick your feet up and go ahead and DoorDash something else. Enjoy. Enjoy, Derek. You know, 7 kids and the busy life that you have. I would definitely probably want to have a day where I just DoorDash every single thing I need. You know what I mean? Interesting. Why didn't Neo respond after Muddy? Was there a hiccup here? Is there something going on with the system? No, he's got 12 gigs. He's got plenty. Oh, I never actually finished this update, did I? That's hilarious. Oh my goodness, I'm laughing at myself. Let's I don't think that affected anything. I mean, that's hilarious. Anything for the espresso, really though. I mean, in Europe, espressos are like $1, depending on where you go, 75 cents to $1.75. Some places will be $2.50. Over here, it's like $5 for an espresso at this coffee shop next door. I didn't even spend the money. I'm like, no, I'm not paying that overpriced shit. Excuse my language. But I'm not paying that overpriced cost of an espresso. It's crazy. Let's see, are you done? Did you? There we go. I mean, it's getting better, but you don't need to add the border there. Although in some cases the border's not a bad idea. Okay. Let's all right, I think maybe this idea is also getting stale, so I want you to force a cron right now. Let me rephrase that. Force a fresh pass for the overnight thumbnail. Don't take away from what you have to do overnight. Let's just force one through right now so I see a new idea, please. With all this new logic and brand kit tied to it. Let's see what happens. Okay. Yo, Neo, why didn't you respond to Muddy just now? He was asking you some questions. Nice. What for? If you don't mind me asking, was it piano related or just for fun? You know my work in a way of this live. Can't list it all. Hey, I understand, John. It's all good. I thank you for stopping by when you can, you know? Yeah, and I could have sworn that, you know, with the Agent Atlas, and looks like the chat bubble still works after that update. I mean, it's working, so. But I do know that I unintentionally touched some core files. All right, Muddy, I think that you need to add this to your rules of operation in the shared chat. Anytime you're asking Neo a question, do the @Neo. Make sure you tag Neo, because I think by tagging him, he'll then be triggered to A, read the message, and B, respond. And see, the shared comms isn't perfect. We improve as we go. I just discovered some weird little bug, so I asked why, and we're just obviously dialing that in. Yeah, I would imagine you have to be specific at the start of the job or at the start of the task. Ah, okay. I mean, I guess that's the best place to learn a new language, is to go to the country to learn that new language, you know? Yeah, that sounds fun. Nice. 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 All right, let's go back to our thumbnail lab. He's still working, but it looks like he is forcing one. So let's just be impatient and look. Okay, we don't see anything yet. And it looks like that session disappeared when I did a hard refresh. No, he's still working, so let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. It is almost time for me to go make some lunch, and so I think we'll wrap things up right after this one here. Let's see. All right, so continue what you guys were doing, Muddy. Go back to where your last message at 11:38 a.m. where you were asking Neo a question. I want you guys to finish up with this curriculum so I can review it over the next day and a half, and then we're going to revisit it on Wednesday and ask the audience about it. Is this really that? Ah, it's done. So in my Agent Atlas, yeah, so this is my default agent profile here. I only use him. There's no delivery channel set up. I think there is a cron or two set up, but primarily for backing up the entire system to GitHub and Google Drive. 2-part backup every 12 hours. Offset, so it's really every 6 hours that I have backups kind of scattered across. But yeah, he's not responsible for any work, right? Everything comes in through Neo. Neo then delegates out. There are times where I'll go talk to him in the TY chat, because that's my only way to communicate with my admin. And then he could do work across the entire system for me, which I do sometimes. I love this structure that I've built here. I'm still cleaning up a little touch of hallucination because I originally started configuring him as Neo. But I want to say it took me 2 weeks to switch it up. So for the most part, he identifies as admin. Sometimes he'll say admin/Neo, so I have to fix that. But yeah. Hope that answers your question. The agent atlas is honestly just a place for me to visualize. I didn't realize that my agents were going to use it as a way to create these delegation maps, these routing maps, these routing owners, and who gets what task, and then how that owner handles that task, right? I wasn't expecting this part. And then I need to work on this, obviously, but these two here. I want to turn this one into a direct link to our Kanban so that it shows who has an active task. I kind of want to, I don't know how difficult this would be, but I kind of want to create a square in the middle where anytime an agent is active, they walk through the hallway from their area to there to do the work. You know what I mean? And then walk back. That would be kind of cool. But it's not a priority of mine right now. That's more vanity than anything else, right? Definitely more vanity than anything else. All right, let's go back over here. See what's up. All right. Well, it's hard to refresh it. Ooh, hey, kind of cool. Listen, I wouldn't use it, but it did a really good job here. It did a really good job here. Let me, because that monitor doesn't have the best brightness. Oh yeah, that actually looks very clean on this monitor. Much better. I would still make some changes to it, but this is the beauty of this. It's like I can then fine tune the thumbnail from here. But that's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. Not a bad idea. All right. I think I'm just going to let it run as is now. So I would also like to add, I really like the idea of using like a yellow whenever possible. And the yellow I would want to use is FFDD00 for the hex. Like you have this teal that you're showing, and I'm not mad at it, but let's just revisit our brand kit really quickly. You know, these high contrast palettes, I'm wondering, can you, before you force the yellow rule, I want you to try this. Let's try to force another cron, right, for a thumbnail output. But this time, I want you to use each of the high contrast palettes for each generation. So now instead of just generating one, you're going to generate 4 total outputs based off of those high contrast patterns, or palettes rather. And then I think on the thumbnail page, or the page for that particular thumbnail, we should have a tabbed approach where a pill tag approach to where we can view version 1, version 2, version 3, version 4 of the thumbnail really, really easily. Let me know if you have any questions. Get it done. I have my agent build full spec before starting a new project. Spec the included testing validation steps that must pass for the agent to consider a task complete. I have stopped with the old way of vibe coding. I now do everything with a proper plan and spec. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're just getting away from vibe coding. You know what you want, and you're defining, you know, guardrails. You're defining your expectations, right? I think the definition of vibe coding is not doing that, right? Like, so that makes sense. And I think you gravitate towards that direction, right? That's why I never wanted to call myself a vibe coding specific channel, because I never intended on only focusing on vibe coding. I just never wanted to position the channel in that way. So if you add a new agent, would all that self-populate, or would you have to go add it to each step? Are you talking to Mr. Baker or me? I think you might be talking to Mr. Baker there. Because I'm not sure what I was doing that would justify that question, unless it was related to the Agent Atlas. Active agents should be jacked into the matrix. Oh, that's great. That's great. Ah, me and my map. Let's go back to your question. So if you added a new agent. So that's a good question. This all self-populated in each individual column. I first had to define who my executives are, right? And then all of my other agents, I just named them their lane plus their task. So it knew where to place them. I didn't have to manually place this as you see here. That's a great question. I haven't tested that part yet, to be honest, because I built this to fit my map, right? To fit my team. But then through this, sharing this with Neo then built out a delegation map and a routing owner, like legend, so to speak, to where, okay, when an engineering related task comes in, I'm not going to forward it to engineering then front end. I'm going to forward it to architect, and then architect handles his own kind of little map and legend that he follows based off of the incoming task. But it's a good question. I guess I could test it. My next step was to create an onboarding kind of mechanism. I wanted to do it today, but I mean, I got to end the stream soon. To where when you first install the Agent Atlas, you help predefine your system, because I have a feeling not everybody's going to name their agent profiles the way that I did, right? I gave each department head their own names. Yes. But then each department, I actually just named them the department dash the task, the responsibility rather. Department responsibility. And through this, Agent Atlas was able to populate without me specifying which one goes where. It already knew based off of our predefined, department heads with their lanes, with their tasks. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. I know that was kind of an indirect answer, but I don't want to test that right now because I know that would involve another hour of streaming, and I really want to, my stomach's growling at me here, so it's time to work out and eat as soon as possible. I think you could say that I vibe the spec and plan with the agent at the beginning, but as far as coding, I find better results with a full spec. Yeah, and I think we still vibe, quote unquote, our way through the process at some level, but it's a difference between vibe coding the features and the entire app versus vibe coding through a plan, right? Or I guess you can't call it vibe coding, but you know what I mean. Vibing your way through a plan back and forth, and then once you have that detailed technical specification, you can then feed it off and just have your agent or agents do the work for that matter. All right, let's go back to the thumbnail, shall we? Let's be impatient here. Oh yeah, it's not even going to be close to done, huh? Let's see. I want to see. Did he... Oh. So he says he can't back up. That's something I'm going to have to enable with his bot token. I think that's more of a permissions issue on the developer dashboard of Discord bot tokens than anything. Okay. Well, let's just do a hard refresh here. Nice. They simplified the titles. I love it. They were adding way too many words to the titles. Build the front door, design the agent team, wire the operating system, make it repeatable. Wow, it's a nice 4-step boot camp. We might have to expand off of this, but I love the packaging of this. That's really cool. That's really cool. I like that. Here I'm just jamming to my background music. Sorry, guys. Yeah, and for anybody who may not have caught this live, but you're watching the recording, if you have anything specific that you want to see in the boot camp, and we didn't cover it today, I'm going to slowly work on this boot camp over the next week or two, and then we'll make sure we schedule a start date for it as soon as possible, right? But I first want to dial in the curriculum, and I'm going to take the same approach I did with OpenClaw. We're going to work on the curriculum on these live streams together, and then I'll fine tune them on my own time. But I really want your input. I really value your input, right? So I'm doing this for you. I'm not doing this for me. And that's why I'm showing the process live. I'm getting your input live, right? So it grows on you, right? I need to work on a bigger playlist too. And it's on my list to share it. I know, Sean. I want to share it as soon as possible, but I want to fine tune things, remove all the repeatable ones, and we'll get that shared as soon as possible. It's just I have so much on my list right now. I want to make sure I tackle the priorities and just get everything out there before, I spend 90 minutes to 120 minutes working on fine tuning the flow playlist, building out some more songs, All right. It's doing its thing. Let's be impatient. Let's force it. Yeah? Nope. Still not ready yet. Damn it. Gemini powered Siri? No way. Let's go watch that. I'll probably get a copyright strike on this one, but it's okay. Where is it? Okay, listen. I don't want to see news on this YouTube channel. Get out of here with that. What is this?
Coming to a pocket near you.
Hello.
The Siri AI glow up hits the small screen. See Siri AI in the role of a lifetime, your personal assistant. Ask Siri AI anything and revisit your conversations with ease in a new dedicated app. Watch Siri AI embark on a quest to provide nutritional details about your meal. Yummy. Cheer as Siri AI handles every detail of your soccer watch party. Go! Siri is giving main character energy and puts the personal in personal assistant. See next generation Apple Intelligence extend, reframe, and clean up your photos. Booyah! Create photorealistic images and flex your imagination everywhere from contact posters to fun wallpapers in the all-new Image Playground. Safari has never been more organized with topics or timely with Notify Me. Rest easy knowing your data is protected as compromised passwords are automatically updated with just a tap. And see Apple Intelligence stand guard to protect your privacy. A faithful sentinel, keeping your private info private. With Siri and Apple Intelligence, your data stays protected.
I'm confused.
All this and so much more. Coming to an iPhone near you.
That's hella funny how they made that like a trailer. They don't mention Google once. Are we sure it's Gemini? I believe you, but like the fact they're not giving credit where it's due. I don't want to watch this whole
And
1 hour
third,
thing.
a big leap forward for Apple Intelligence, with an innovative architecture that unlocks a new Siri across platforms, along with many helpful features integrated into the apps you use every day.
Yeah,
This
it
work
says
applies-
nothing about Google on any of their videos. Got it. Okay. Yeah, this is the comment I was referencing. I was like, Gemini powered Siri. I'm like, this is shocking me that they didn't, okay. They did mention it. They probably mention it somewhere in here, but they're not going to write it out. They're not going to put it at the intro or the outro, right? They probably just briefly mention it somewhere in the video. This is my guess. I was expecting to see like an Apple plus Google logo or something like that somewhere. Wow. I think it's about time. From what I understand with Siri, I think it's just about time that they did something like this. Do they? Okay. I didn't want to take the time to watch through this whole thing.
We think
This would have probably, though... Oh, streamed 2 hours ago, so... We would have had to start watching this at 10. Okay. That would have actually not been a bad idea to watch that live while I'm just doing work in silence. Oh well. What's done is done. Okay. All right. Now, I'm gonna go off topic here. What's up with these soccer fans out here? Anybody watching the Cup? I haven't watched any of the friendly games yet, but if I'm not mistaken, games start this week, right? Yep, it looks like it starts on the 11th. Okay, not games I'm interested in. Oh, Brazil plays Saturday, nice. Damn, you're really making us wait until next week to play? What is that? Did I skip over? Did we play before then? No, Portugal doesn't play until next week? Aw, that's messed up. Ooh. Ah. Interesting. 10 a.m. on Wednesday? I'm sorry, stream, but we might have to end that stream early. I suppose I can put it on that TV over there. Oh, that's not a good time at all. Oh, man. Oh, that's funny. Got it. Okay, makes sense. Yeah, Siri really did need it. No, it's all good. I was just curious. I cannot wait to start beta testing it. You know what I mean? Yeah. No, I understand. It's not for everybody, for sure. All right, listen, as much as I want to wait for this to finish, I do want to get through, make some lunch, and that workout in. So, listen, I think it's been a solid episode. Got a lot done today. Worked on the bootcamp curriculum. Fine-tuned the thumbnails lab. More and more. Had a lot of fun. Scripted 2 videos, actually. We're definitely going with one of the 2. And yeah, just want to thank everybody for spending your Monday with me. Hope you have a great rest of the week. We'll be back at it on Wednesday, same time. Ah, okay. I was waiting for you to finish, Duval, before ending it. I know you were in the middle of sharing something. But yeah, no, I'm going to go through and just start thanking everybody. Thank you, Maestro. Thank you, Mr. Baker. Thank you, Duval. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Sharma. Thank you, Derek. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Looking forward to hearing what you DoorDash next. I got you, Sharma. Let's see. Thank you, John. And Johnny and John B. I remember we had 3 Johns in the chat today. Let's go. Let's see. Can I keep scrolling up? And I can't keep scrolling up. YouTube must have blocked it. So, but yeah. Hey, nevertheless, thanks everyone. Hope you have a great rest of the day. Have a great start to the week. We'll be back at it Wednesday, same time. Until then, happy building. Cheers.